Hey everybody, this is Kathy, Crowder's Mountain in North Carolina. I hope you're enjoying your weekend. Today is Saturday here, and I know it's been a while since I've uploaded a video, so I wanted to do one for you. And I know sometimes my videos get really long, so what I'm going to do today is just do one that tells you what kind of tools I use, so that the next time I upload a video, I can spend more time on teaching you guys how to draw the pattern and how to paint it rather than going through all the things that I use every time and taking up all that much time. So what I'll do is I'll name this one Tools and Tips, and it'll be video number 50. So when I'm painting and showing you how to do the patterns the next video, I'll just say, refer to video number 50 if you want to know what this heat gun is and that kind of thing, okay? All right, let's get at it. So this won't last long. I wanted to show you the one that I just finished, and it's just a calico cat, and this is not my pattern. I saw somebody do it on some Facebook group, and I've seen it different places, so I don't want you to think that I'm not taking credit for anybody else's pattern. This is not my pattern, but I did paint it, drew it out and painted it. So I just wanted to show you that one and tell you that this is the kind of wood that I use. I have 3/4 inch, if you can see it, 3/4 inch. It's called blonde wood plywood. Now it's made for furniture and cabinets and things like that. So it's a real sturdy piece of wood. However, I take my wood and I seal it good with this sealer. And it's Kills. Not sure which way you're going to see that. This way. It's Kills Premium Interior and Exterior Primer, and it's a sealer. It's also a stain blocker, but it's a sealer as well. And so I'll put 2 coats of that on the front and the back. So I've got it sealed really well before I ever start painting it. And then, now for my patterns, I just see a picture that I like and I can draw it out if I can see the grid, if I can tell how many blocks it has, and we'll do that each time we're doing a barn quilt. But for now, we won't get into the patterns that much. Lay this aside and let me just show you what I kind of use for a setup here. If y'all have ever watched my videos, you know I have those bricks that I've wrapped up in the puppy pads, and they work fine. However, I had a class not long ago that I had 15 people in, and it takes 2 brick for each quilt. So I had to carry in 30 brick and then carry them back out. I thought I have got to do something that's a little bit easier. So my husband and I come up with this idea of making these Lazy Susans, and so we're gonna try that. But you know, it's kind of it works well. But I put this cheap, I found it at the dollar store or somewhere. I had it in a box, some of it, and then I found some of it at the dollar store. But this is shelf liner, and it kind of helps it grip a little bit more, but it still turns good. So anyway, that's what I use for my base now. And so when I put the quilt on here, see it turns. It turns as I'm using it. You get the idea. That helps when you're doing the borders, when you're painting the borders as well. Well, let me show you. I'm making sure I've got this kind of in the center, and let me show you. Of course, you need your yardstick. You're gonna want your yardstick when you're using that. When you're drawing off your pattern. But if you ever get a hold of a pattern that you want to draw a circle, then all you have to do is take this yardstick and just drill you holes at every inch, drill you a hole. So you can stick your pencil down in it or pen, whatever you're using, and you can just draw your circle like that. Well, that's not going to work, but y'all know what I'm talking about. I'll show you that one day when we're doing another barn quilt. But that is an easy way to draw circles. And then I have a 2-foot clear ruler as well, and I really like these clear ones. I haven't found a yardstick that's clear yet. I've got a metal one and then these wooden ones, but I really like these clear ones. I can really see where I am on my pattern. And I've got a small, like a 1-foot ruler as well. And then I also have the 1 foot, but I also have a 6-inch ruler when I'm drawing my graphs, my patterns out on graph paper. This 6-inch ruler comes in handy doing that. What else I want to tell you? Of course, for the tape that I use, I always like this surface. It's a delicate surface. It's by Scotch. And I like it because it's just so thin. When you're putting your, this is a new roll now, and I don't know if I can get to the end of it. Let me show you on another roll. This one's about out. But see how thin it is? It's just real thin. If I took a pen and drew a line, I can see that line through that tape. And I like that because if I had that line drawn and I wanted to cut right at that line, I would take my razor. Now you could use a paint scraper or just a window scraper, whatever, but I like these razors, and I can put that right on that line and pull it, and I've got that angle. So when you're drawing your pattern, that really helps. So and it's real thin, like I say, and it don't leave ridges when you're painting different colors. And other people like other things. And a lot of people use the frog tape, the green and the yellow, and it's just a matter of preference. But I'm just telling you what I do. So when I put my tape down, another thing that I found is these little cards. Now you can use an old credit card, you can use a grocery store card, whatever you got lying around. But I like the way that kind of handles. And it's just a little card, and I burnish it down like that before I paint. So that seals that really well. You don't have to put water on it or anything else. That paint is wet. It's going to seal it as long as you've burnished it down really well. And then when you peel it up, you peel away from the paint like that. And 9 out of 10 times, 99% of the time, it's not going to take your paint up. Now, I have it do that on me, so usually it's my fault. I got a little slap happy and put too much paint on it. Or I got it too hot and I didn't wait for it to cool down. And speaking of cooling down, when I put my paint on, I use these brushes. Now, I love them because of the way they handle, and particularly, but then they're so easy to clean. And I get them at Michael's, and for my classes, I use these. I just give them one of these, plus a couple of little tiny detail brushes. So whatever brushes you like better, it's going to work for you. But I like, for my 2-foot ones especially, I like these 1/2 inch and 1 inch brushes, and that's like a 1/4 inch. But they are really, really good. And to get into the really tiny spots, I do have some little tiny brushes, little tiny ones, but these are like some kind of skewer, some kind of little toothpick looking thing. But you can just dab it in your paint and get it right into the corner if you needed to. So that's another trick. And then I did, someone else said that they used a pencil, a really sharp pencil. And so if you've got a sharp pencil, don't go out and buy any of these things. Just use it. And you could just barely tap it into your paint and then just stick it into that corner. And because you want your corners real defined really well. That's kind of what makes the barn quilt, when you're finished with it, it just looks so polished and finished. Now, I've told you about this little scraper. Of course, you can buy bigger ones, but I have classes, so I've got these smaller ones, and you can see the razors flipped around. And then I got this one that I use all the time here, just in my workshop. But I like the kind, and one of these days I may get enough for the class, but I like the kind that's got that little button and it retracts, so that, see, after every class I have to go around and flip these back around. I have to flip them out so the razor edge is out, and then I have to flip them back to carry them back home. Now, sometime my students will do it for me, the people that participate in the classes, but I have to check every one of them. So if I had that retracting thing, I could just pull it back and it'd be gone. Might be safer. Okay, I'm going to tell you when I'm drawing my pattern. I might be kind of skipping around here. I don't mean to. But I want to show you what I do with my heat gun. I have this heat tool, and it just gets 300 watts. And when I put my paint down, I burnish my tape. Well, okay, got the pattern. I put the tape down, I burnish the tape, and I want to get rid of my lines, right? So I use these heat erasable pens. They come in different colors, and I just happen to have that one black already on here. So watch what happens when it gets hot. It goes away. So you don't have to spend a whole lot of time erasing pencil, getting that trash all over your board, trying to get it off. Me, I sling it off into my paint and everywhere else. So this has just been such a find for me. And I found it on, somebody else was talking about it on YouTube. That's how I found it. And I just love it. Now, people will say, but it'll come back when it gets cold. It will, if you don't paint over it. But once you've painted over that, it's not going to come back. You've painted over it, and water will take it off. So the paint is wet as well, so it just dissipates into your paint. It's fine. So don't worry about that. But I found this on Amazon, and it's actually like a little heat embossing tool. And here's a pack. I just recently ordered some for the class, and because we were in a place, I believe it was the last class, maybe the one before that, and we just blew out all the circuits because everybody brought their hairdryer, and we had so many people there, and we were in trouble. So I thought, okay, the money I make with that class, I'm going to put it back into my classes. And so I bought, I think I bought 10 of these heat guns, and that should be enough. I already had like 4 or 5, so I think that'll be enough for my classes. I get more than 15, I'm going to be over my head. But anyway, wanted to show you that. They come in different colors, like that purple. I think there's pink and blue and black and red, all different colors. But just Google on Amazon and look up heat gun. And make sure it's not a heat pen. Now, a heat pen, it take all day to dry your barn quilt with that. But I put a layer of paint down, I dry it. I don't get too close because I don't want to blister on my paint. I'll put another layer down, dry it, put another layer down and dry it. And then once that tape is cooled off to the touch, when it's cool to the touch, you just pull it off and you'll be all right. Another thing that I found that I really, really like, besides these pens, my next favorite find that I had, you probably saw this card just now. Well, it's a company called Lole Vethe. If you read it this way, it's Love Life, but that's not the name of her company. Her company is Lole Vethe. And she gives you one of these when you order bottles or anything from her. She gives you one of these. I think it's actually for acrylic pour, paint scrape, like you clean your table off or something. But I'm using it for to burnish my tape. But I want to show you these bottles. I love them. I have ordered about 4 sets, maybe. I think there's 6 in a set, and you get different sizes. I should have grabbed you some of them. But now, if you wanted to, some of them, the newer ones, all have the ounces. But I didn't really need that for what I'm doing. But instead of using paint cans or something that's gonna gum up at the top of my jar, that was driving me insane. Every time I'd go to use a jar of paint, I'd have to clean the can off at the top or the jar off at the top, and then my paint would get dry. The more you take that top off, the more air gets in it, and the more it's going to gunk up around the sides and fall into your paint. You almost felt like you needed to strain your paint. But anyway, I found these when I was watching YouTube again, so I emailed Adriana is her name. Adriana? Yeah. I emailed her and asked her about these bottles. And what I love about them is it's the twist cap. So you're not getting air in there that much. And then I take and just squirt out what I need into one of these little containers. And I may squirt out a lot more, or like here, I was just touching up that cat. So I just squirted out little bits of it, what I needed. Now, you know, sometimes you squirt out too much because I don't need a lot, and it's kind of hard to judge, but that is so much better. And then I squirted that out. I'm just closing that off, and I usually have like a napkin laying here, and I'll just clean the top off. Look how much cleaner that is. Did y'all see that? I just love it. I can't stand a mess, and I'm a messy person, so I had to figure out some way to keep things a little bit more straightened out and clean. But I just love this. And let me get the other 2 sizes. Lay out there. So you see, I've got this size, and I'll keep black and white. I keep my kills in it instead of pouring out of that big can. I don't have to open it very often. I keep my kills in one of these, and then you have this smaller one too. And this one is 4.5 ounces. The middle size one is the one that I use the most of. And it's the 7.5. 7.5. Let me use this one. It's 7.5. And then these are 16 ounces. So you see, that's a lot bigger. But I can carry these back and forth to my class too. But then when I'm painting here, just painting for myself, you know, I can set them here where I need them. when I'm finished, I put them back up. But until I get completely finished, I just squirt a little bit at a time in there. Oh, it's just so much better. And I found that on her website as well. When you're painting, now I have a like a jar of water too, and when I'm done with the brush, I throw it in the water. But when I'm like retaping something, I can just lay it in there, and I don't have to lay it on top of my paint over here and get it all over there, and then I get it all over my hands. So this is just easier, and it washes up so good. I can't remember what these were. They're not that much. I only got 2 of them. I don't use them in my classes. I just use them here. But anyway, that works out really well. And I did find this little skinny tape on Amazon as well. I think that's like a 1/16. It's really tiny, but when I made the cat's tail, the curvy cat's tail, that worked real well. It really makes good curves. You have to be careful when you're painting not to get too, like I said a while ago, get too slap happy with that brush. You have to be careful, but it works real good. I like it. The only other thing is, like, when you're picking out your colors, y'all can go to the hardware store, and they've got these little cards that tells you what colors go together. I'm not that good at picking out colors, and so that kind of helps me to see something. If I see something I like, I try to match those colors. Or I've got these cards from the hardware store, try to come up with a color scheme, and I order these online too. It just tells you what colors go together, but you can get them at the hardware store free. They don't mind you picking them up. And I think that's all I wanted to tell y'all. I'll be painting some more later, and I'll upload another video, I hope, within the next week or so. Thanks for your patience. And if you don't mind clicking the bell and subscribing, subscribe and click the bell for notification when I upload another video. But for now, happy barn quilt making. See y'all later. Bye.